Hey, what's happening? It is Steve Mayeda with thesexuallife.com, and we are here to take you through an awesome video blog which is featuring a TSL Online call. TSL Online stands for the Sexual Life Online. It's our foundational course which teaches you everything. If you want to learn how to be social, be sexual, live a great lifestyle, it's a good place to start. 3 months, fully interactive, all that good stuff, 400 pages of awesome content, which is very different than anything you've learned. But one of those differences, and what we're going to discuss on this call, is authenticity. All right? We don't think about that a lot of times. A lot of the times when we come into the social dynamics and the self-improvement realm, we think that what we have within us is flawed. We think that there's something wrong with us. We need a hero, we need an idol, we need a way of life, we need a system to abide by. All that stuff. That's bullshit. All right? What you need is to learn how to be yourself. What you need to know is that the life that you've already lived has everything within you to live your social and sexual ideals. And that's a very different philosophy that we have, and we hold on to it. There's no compensation of that. Authenticity is key, all right? It's not worth it to make friends, to have lovers, to have sexual experiences, to build relationships, to have a lifestyle, if our values aren't included, if who we are isn't there. If we don't get a woman liking us, loving us, or friends interacting with us or inviting us to things because of who we are, then it has no meaning. It means there isn't a connection. It means that we're only living a superficiality and we're only living a facade. And this is very important. All right, so what I'd advise you to do if this is interesting for you is, number one, check out the article that is attached to this that breaks down that authenticity. Also, listen to the audio just after this. It's going to start in like 30 seconds, that breaks down a little 10-minute clip of a TSL call. They're usually like 90 minutes to 2-3 hours. They're crazy. That's how much we interact with you on that program. But listen to that 10-minute clip of the TSL Online audio where we break down the meaning of authenticity, the breakdown of you being you, so that you can plug that into your life right now. Be a sexual man, be a social man, be a sexual person, and share that with the world. Man, if you can do that, your life is going to be happy, fulfilled, and you're not going to need any hero to look up to. You already have it in you. You were born to be happy. You were born to be social. You were born to be sexual. So let's start doing that right now. All right, Steve Mayeda. Don't forget to stay tuned and subscribe to this channel. Sign up on my email list at thesexuallife.com. We email out all sorts of awesome stuff. And apply this awesome stuff to your life. All right, be social, be sexual, live life. Let's get into what this is all about. Number one, this is here to promote a message that, one, man, we can be authentic expressions of ourselves. To live the sexual life, there's one goal, and that is it. Okay? There's really no negotiations, no compensations of this, but it's to be an authentic expression of yourself. All right? It's not just to be sexual. It's not just to be social. It's not just to be cool. It's not just to be able to high five people and all that sort of stuff. It's to actually be an authentic expression of yourself. And as we go deeper into the meanings of that, you're going to see that, man, that's where the real benefits are going to come from. That's where all of your social dynamics, all the techniques, all the fluidity is going to come to play. It's really going to be through that assertion of authenticity. Okay, so we do this by being social, by being sexual, and living a fulfilled lifestyle. Okay, so it's not worth it if we're not having any of those things. We do this in a way where we practice a set of principles, we learn a social dynamic, we put it into application. Experience is the main teacher of all this, and this is basically the only way really to be who you are, to be the best expression of yourself. One of the things that we want to talk about that's really highlighted on this call is sex is a form of communication, and it's its own language onto itself. Okay, it communicates deeply and uniquely like no other form of communication. And so what that means is, like, I could be talking to somebody, and now, I mean, this is so true. I could be talking to somebody and be at a cafe and just being social, yet exchanging sexually in different ways through intent and just that sensuality of conversation. There's so many different ways to communicate, but there's a distinct difference from being social and being sexual. And a lot of the times when we learn about stuff, when it comes into like like a lot of the seduction industry stuff, a lot of the self-help industry stuff, a lot of the dating, the pickup artist stuff, is that it's like this hyper social behavior that we learn, and that's not actually being sexual. And we need to distinguish the two. And the reason why is when we start confusing it, man, we start communicating all over the place. We start doing social behaviors and thinking that that's how we attract women. We start acting as though we can have like some high energy or maybe gain some high social value. Those are social communication tools where we're actually like asserting ourselves to, really to make more friends and get attention, yet not be seductive, exchange, and exercise those aspects of our sexuality. And man, when we can truly access, exercise, present, share, exchange all those aspects of our sexuality in a way that's physical, psychological, and emotional, and be ourselves, we can know some true benefits of being sexual. And in a very like core to the root guy way, all the way to some new age like crazy philosophical way. But sex is a form of communication, man. It's a language to completely on its own. And in order for you to live your best social and sexual life, it's absolutely necessary, absolutely, once again, non-negotiable, for you to find an alignment and authenticity into all those forms of communication. If you're making friends, if you're building social circles, if a lot of people like you, if you can cut the line into a club, even if a lot of girls are giving you a ton of attention, like that's great. That's great. But if you cannot feel comfortable asserting yourself physically, emotionally, psychologically, well, being naked with a woman, you're just being a performer. Okay. And that is one of the distinct lines of what we promote in the in anything that is the sexual life. We want to be ourselves in all forms of it. When good things are happening in our lives, bad things are happening in our lives, there's one clear answer and one clear solution and next step each and every time. And for being that man that can make that decision, man, it's the same part of us that is allowing us to have a good social and good sexual life. For instance, let's talk about this a little bit. I like to tell stories about myself. I like to share in those sorts of ways. And really, the only story you can tell is one from yourself. If you're telling someone else's stories, always somewhat of a compensation to it. But man, let me tell you something. That when I can be an expression of myself with a woman, whether I'm going for same night lays and trying to just like get some of that man energy out to go get laid, man. There's nothing wrong with that. It should never be anything wrong with that. Like never, under no circumstance. That's a great thing. That's part of being a human being, not just a man, but that's also a part of being a human being and the whole experience of having sex with people. That's also on the woman's end, part of her being a woman. But whether I'm doing that or whether I'm in a relationship, I need to be able to communicate with myself deeply. And when I can do that sexually, I'm communicating with such a deep level of myself. Such a innate part of me that is so raw that maybe I might not have seen before, but also influences every aspect of my persona. Man, when I can communicate with that, when things in my life might not be so good, where the shit hits the fan, so to speak, or maybe I lose a bunch of money. What are the big things that always happen for people that really send people like off the deep end? It's usually finances, romances, stuff like that, man. Let's say I lose all my friends or I get a whole bunch of stuff. If I'm out of touch with myself, if I'm out of touch with that core part of myself, I'm only reacting and I'm hitting a persona and playing a puppet to what I perceive the world as. When I'm that guy that can be comfortable and not just know a set of tricks, but be comfortable with a woman, be naked with her, share myself, whether it's deep in a meaningful relationship and our whole entire lives influence each other, or just part of our lives influence each other where it's just for an hour or so and then we part ways. But when I can be that man in that element, I can also be that man that can make those decisions and see clearly throughout my entire life. That's really, really a big goal for everybody who's a part of
what we promote here at TSL. So it's great if you can make friends. It's great if you can be that guy. But if you can't be somebody who can communicate, in your raw form, you're only performing. You're only reacting. You're only bouncing stuff off the parts of the world that you're still afraid to integrate in. And so sex is such an important thing when it comes to that. And the same goes for being able to escalate sexually. There's also a lot of guys, and in fact, this was something for me personally. I was able to feel comfortable sexually. I was able to feel comfortable with being physical, still kind of lost on the emotional side of things and wasn't able to fully be myself there. Or maybe I'd be too much of myself there or something along those lines. But man, I couldn't be social in a way that used that same side of me. So I was comfortable sexually, but not as comfortable socially with people. And I had to be able to find that balance. Okay. So the message we promote is not to be a man that has some flashy, tricks or actions or whatever, but to be a man whose entirety is attractive. Okay. And that's how we generate attraction. Don't get me wrong. We have tons of great social dynamics and all that sort of stuff. And there's an absolute discipline to it, but it has to integrate the self when it comes down to it. Okay. How that person lives, how he asserts his emotional makeup, his character, his ability to find purpose, and all of that working as a constant, a message of expression of who he is. That is what makes a man attractive. All right. And that's what we do here. So check this out. What I want to really break down here is your sex life, your sex drive, how you talk to women, how you live is something you should be proud of. And in order to really get a grasp on that, we have to know ourselves. And we have to make a clear distinction that seduction is a form of communication. It might be a new form of communication, but it's definitely different than regular, just plain old social communication. We learn how to talk. We might learn how to be a team player in some sport. We might learn how to, work a social circle, a very particular social circle. Maybe we join a cult, who knows? But being somebody that is a sexual man is learning a complete form of communication. And in order for you to truly be a man, to get in touch with your masculinity, you need to be aware of that communication. You need to start living in that sort of communication. And that's really what we were meant to do.
Man, I hope you enjoyed that. Steve Mayeda, The Sexual Life. Go there, sign up on the email list, and be a part of our family. Email me anytime you want, steve@thesexuallife.com. And hopefully you take this stuff that you've just learned, apply it to your life, and stop looking for an answer outside of yourself. It's within you. You were born to do this, and you have everything you need to be a sexual man. All right, thanks for watching.